Welcome back to another magnetic mount review, or unboxing at least. This one is from a different seller, but he's not new to the Open Pilot community, and you'll see him on Discord as Tiny Bear, and his little shop or company is known as BearTech. So on the screen right now, I have just one of the images that he has presented with a typical kit. And I will go over a few things that I have, and that will include some links and some pictures and videos. And then of course I'll do an unboxing. So let's first look at some URLs. I'll be including these in the description. So we've got documentation, we've got an Etsy link, which I think I will omit from the YouTube video description, because it looks like they would like everyone to use the shop that's at this site. And then there is, of course, a thread in Discord called BearTech MagMount. It's a for sale thread. And then finally there's a Reddit post that was mentioned in Discord with just like a lot of feedback and insight from people who seem to really like the kit, which is more on the inexpensive side. So let's see what I've got here. I've got a folder with some videos. We'll just call it like preview videos here. So let me just run through them real quick.
You might wonder what will happen if device is pulled while Open Pilot is engaged. The car throws error, but still in control.
And let's look at the next video.
Speed bumps.
Now maybe extreme potholes or sinkholes or something. That might be a different story. So, it's interesting because the grip that he had when taking it off, I honestly don't think most people will take it off that way. But if you do take it off that way, then the Comma device will tilt like that coming off, which will put pressure on the USB cable against the other cable. And it can actually have an adverse effect on the connectors, maybe put some strain on the solder joints. I have always taken them off like this. And when I do that, it prevents the issue that I was talking about with the cables butting into each other. Anyway, that's just an observation that I had. And then this is the final video of videos that I had scraped while researching this. This is just showcasing a couple of things, really. It's not only showcasing that they've tested to ensure this can handle repeated connections and disconnections, but it also just shows that you have a inventor, if you want to call him that, who is very aware of wear and tear, and is a customer-centric kind of a person, wants to make sure his product will last. So anyway, in this video, you can see it's got little LEDs for the different pins. And this is a high pin count USB-C connection. So it's important that all the connections are intact, because if you're missing one or two of them, then what happens is the open pilot either won't switch into on-road mode, which is it's actually triggered by the ignition when it detects ignition, or if it does get triggered and you do go into on-road mode, it might actually get like a CAN error, which isn't the end of the day. Maybe reseating the connection will fix it, but these are the kind of inconveniences that we don't want. So we just want to make sure that every time you connect the device, it always works. So those are the quick videos, and then here's just some pictures. The pictures won't be anything new. Since you've seen the videos, but might as well look at them. Here's a nice picture of it installed on a Comma 3. You can tell it's a Comma 3 because the lenses stick out a little bit. It's interesting to note the cable routing here. Stock Comma 3 cable would go out this way, follow this little groove or indentation. Some magnetic mounts might have a different routing for the cable. For example, go straight up. Some might go to the left. In this case, it's going down. The only real advantage to going down would be that since you have a longer cable, it has a larger bend radius. So potentially less strain on the connections too. But in this case, when I look really closely, it's got a little twist here, which isn't fantastic. Like, I don't like to see that. One way to avoid it is to have a little bit more meat on the end of the cable. I did look through the, I think it was this Reddit I was going through, and I saw one post. It was actually, I think, a post from the builder, and maybe it was somewhere else, but he was mentioning how the cable had to be shaved a little bit in order to fit. So that was interesting. But anyway, and then, here's the Etsy page. I don't really think they use this anymore, since that obviously is not a valid price, or nothing that you would want to pay for this. So close that out. And this is a very complete documentation, installation, shop link. It's got like all sorts of stuff in here. And I mean, really included a lot of stuff in the write-up here. So I don't know if you could call it open source, because I don't know if he's got the plans documented anywhere, but this is definitely a step in a good direction with all these details and diagrams. And so it's, like I said, it's also targeting the budget-friendly crowd. It's a little bit cheaper, so $83 for this premium version. There's a essential version that's sold out, apparently $66. So it's got less stuff with it. And there is this Discord thread that I mentioned before. So if you need live assistance or something, this would be one way of doing it. I did look at something that was interesting. I saw the URL had this word that I hadn't seen before. I was like, well, what's that mean? Is that innovate or something? Is that French? What the heck is this? Is it, and how do you even say it? Inoio or Inwale? Well, did a Google Translate. It means get excited in Finnish. So I don't know if that was intended or if it was just some Chinese lottery kind of thing where they sometimes throw a dice and choose a random word or something, but that's interesting. So anyway, I've covered all the stuff that I could really talk about on my computer. I guess there's this final picture here. We'll see this in just a minute, as we're gonna head over now to an unboxing, and I'll continue from there. Okay, so we have a box in front of me here. Let's see how much it weighed real quick. Okay, 10.3 ounces, 10.4 ounces. Okay, and let's dive in. Thank you for your purchase, BearTech Workshop. And helpful hint. Thank you so much for your patience. I didn't really have to wait very long. I did see that it includes a static sticker. So some people like to use that, but I'm gonna actually, even though I already have 2 other magnetic mounts on my windshield, I'm gonna use the normal method, which is just to use the 3M VHB and stick it on to the windshield for a somewhat more permanent installation. So I'll just put that here. Let's see what's in here. Very well packed. Okay. MagMount set B, MagMount set A. Okay. And these, yeah, I saw these in some of the pictures where these were being used as guides for the cable. So cable guides, so you stick it to the windshield, and then and it's got a lot of cable guides. Some people might be into that. I find other ways of routing my cables so that it doesn't really need anything like that. So anyway, that is a nice touch. Some people want the box that they receive to have every possible thing that they could ask for. So it looks like they have erred on the side of giving a lot of things. What is here? Okay. And it's got a summary of what it includes. Let's just open this up, because and I don't know if they really needed to have like a static, you know, this is a anti-static bag. I mean, it's got a PCB on it, or 2 PCBs, and you can see that it's 3D printed. I'm just checking for the levelness and the quality. Okay, and so it's got this protective thing here. Yeah, because otherwise the thing is going to be all snapping around and it could damage pins. So that's a very thoughtful touch as well. So he obviously didn't need to do that. So that was very nice. And you know, from the pictures that we've seen, the cable comes out the top. And from what I've seen, this is just a singular like adjustment screw. Instead of having like a set, like 4 set screws, this has 1 adjustment set screw there. And it's obviously got a very big Allen wrench to go with that. So this is interesting. And on this side, the the pogo pin receiving side, it's flat, so that's interesting, as opposed to some of the other designs where it's got like little divots, so it's concave. So that is interesting. Okay. And it didn't take like an army to pull that apart. Like I was able to pull it apart, but it was still pretty strong, but maybe a weaker person wouldn't have been able to pull it apart. But that wasn't too bad, not too difficult to pull apart. And I've got my iFixit kit here, but I suppose I can humor using this Allen wrench. And we've got here VHB, so at least 2 of them here. I don't see any thing to account for maybe a windshield that has an extra severe rake to it. I see something extra in here, so I'll get to that afterwards, but let's see what's on this. So it's got, I'll keep these spaced from each other. Thank you for your patience. Something exciting. Community called, and we don't know how to pronounce it, so Inwale. But I did show that the Finnish definition for it was get excited, and he is talking about something exciting, so that must be what that's all about. And has a YouTube channel, TikTok, Discord. Okay, so he has his own Discord. And Starlink accessories, wow, that's interesting. Mini modular device, mini game console, van life. You know, honestly, these are all things that are very interesting to me. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of their customers are into these same kinds of things. So, cool. And we've got these cables. I did see something about, you know, I love it when they put stuff in centimeters. You know, in the United States, centimeters is often like very confusing to people. But anyway, these are, you've got a short, I think this was, I saw in one place, I could have swore it said 13, but on this it says 15 centimeters. It's 2 right angles, and technically, you know, you can have a right angle going this way as well instead of like that. You could have it go like that. But anyway, this is how this one's oriented. It's got a metal portion and then a plastic portion, and from what I saw, the plastic portion goes in like that. Like I said, I did see a post somewhere that said it had too much material that needed to be taken off, but it actually looks good to me here. It felt like, yeah, it felt like it's pretty well seated, so maybe that was an issue. Actually, I do feel it kind of going at a little bit of an angle, like instead of straight down, a little bit like that. To me, that means that some of the material right there could be shaved off. I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it needed to be shaved off, but not a big deal. If you're gonna shave something off with a big knife, put some protective glove on, or just be very careful. You obviously can't shave the metal very easily unless you have a grinder, or you're very patient with sandpaper or something. But then we've got this longer cable. Longer cable, I think, was around, see, 45 centimeters. So that's about a foot. Actually, it looks just a bit over a foot, but it has one straight end and one angled end. I think the angled end goes on the portion like this. And then this would go up to the harness box. So by the camera, the LCAS camera, lane keep assist. So then, I don't see any asymmetry here. So this is perfectly centered. Some of the magnetic mounts have it skewed a bit on one side to avoid getting in the way of the wide angle camera. So anyway, we know that the connection here is going to go up. So to go up, I have to go like that, I guess. And it's a really solid fit. It's got that 3D printed kind of feel as it rubs against the case. You can sort of feel the texture. Get a little bit of this material out here. I don't know if you can see it. That's going to be, so you're going to want to make sure you don't have any stray strands of filament or anything like that. Man, I don't even have to tighten that. Maybe it's pre-tightened where it's already, yeah, it didn't feel like it was pre-tightened too much. So let's see how easy it is to take off. Yeah, it's really snug, very snug tolerances. That's actually it's a pretty good thing. But if you get it wrong, then you end up having to have people sand it or whatever. This fits really snug. Now, I don't know. Maybe one of my other mounts scratched the case up here. You can hear it snap. And I do, you see that it's sticking out a little bit here. So about 1.5, I'd say 1.5 millimeters probably. Maybe 2. Yeah, I'd say that's about 2 millimeters sticking out there, which will definitely, I don't see how it would not be visible out the upper right from this wide camera. So anyway, I will drive with this for a little bit, like maybe a week or something like that, just to make sure there's nothing weird going on. And you definitely want to be careful tightening that because you don't want to bust a hole through your case. And then we already discussed this, like that. So interesting, huh? So maybe that cable maybe had some different change going on because I don't see that really. Oh, you know what? But it doesn't go there, it goes up. I feel like this is it too short? No, it's fine. You just gotta bend it really, really good there. So some people will be a little bit afraid to do that. So maybe the order of operations is first put it in your comma 3, and then maybe actually some people might want to pre-attach it. That would be one way. So go like that. Go like that. And then you could so it's pre-attached, and then just go like that. And you can see it's got a lot of strain here, but you can bend the cable, like kind of give it some pre-bend or whatever you want to call it. And I'm gonna kind of shape it. So you can kind of shape it. You could probably also heat up the cable a bit. The temperature here it's right now I have it set to 74 degrees Fahrenheit. So right now I've kind of been holding the cable down, and it's definitely taking the direction that I've given it. I've given it some molding direction, and this camera here, the narrow camera, probably is not going to see this, so that's good. But you can see how I've shaped it so it's not just one big loop. It's angled down now a little bit, so that's cool. Actually, I feel better about this now. And You know, once again, there are different approaches to having the cable. Now, anyone who is not mechanically inclined, you know, don't, just a warning, don't be dumb and put it in this way and crank it down. You're gonna screw up your case. The Comma 3 case is gonna be destroyed. It's just plastic after all. Of course, the mount is made out of some sort of, I don't know if it's ABS. It's definitely very tough. It might be PETG. I'm sure it's stated somewhere. It's a really tough material. I've seen a lot of stuff come out of China with the same kind of really tough FDM 3D printed material. So anyway, this is pretty much ready. What's this? Okay, this doesn't have the, this is, you could call this the receiver. You could say this doesn't have the 3M VHB pre-applied. Maybe some people don't want to use this. Maybe they want to use their own. But the kit, let's see what we've got here. So it's got 75% ethyl alcohol. Okay, this is a prep pad. Disinfect your windshield, okay. Got some wet wipes here too. So I guess this, you would use this first to initially clean off your windshield. Okay. This is professional screen cleaning paper, maybe intended for cleaning off the screen there. I don't know. Okay, but it's appreciated. I'll figure out something to do with that. These must be the static cling film. Honestly, I'd be scared to have $1,000 hanging on using static, but some people don't mind that risk. And this is cool because it makes it very easy to, at least this blue thing is easy to take off. So I'll do that. Go like that. I recommend generally rolling stuff on. So you see how I've centered it like that. I'm going to give some mild pressure here. And I've already given it a little bit of a bend, so it's naturally rolling on by itself. And with 3M VHB, you really gotta let it cure in a warmer temperature for at least a day or so. So yeah, you know, massage it, make sure there's no air bubbles, that it's got a good contact with the 3D print below it. You can always buy replacement VHB, but it's definitely nice having it pre-cut, and it looks like they did a good job pre-cutting this. I'm going to pre-lift some of this up just to make sure that it's easier to put on my windshield afterwards. So I've got it lifted just a little bit there. And it's an interesting, you know, there's like different versions of VHB. This one is a weirder looking one. It's kind of like, it looks like it's going to have the potential to be gunky, because I can see, you can see how it's like sticking to the red plastic. I don't know if it's a knockoff, or if, you know, like I said, there's different variants or different compounds. So it looks like you want to at least peel off a good amount of this. And it's interesting because I see that it's not fully sticking to the 3D print. And honestly, now that I think about it, I probably should have used some alcohol against the 3D print as well. So if you're watching this and you got the same kind of thing, maybe you want to put alcohol on the plastic before you put the VHB on that, because I was just thinking about the windshield. So that's something to think about, and I'll be putting this in my car shortly. Before I go mounting anything, I almost forgot to check out this bag. So this is the MagMount Set B. I am curious if this is like how much of a duplicate set of equipment there is in here. I see it has extra VHB. Okay, I'll put this here. This is interesting. I think this is the, okay, this is thread locker on it. So, and I'm sure the instructions have everything listed out. It does say apply a drop of thread locker to the thread of the set screw and the device side mag mount. So that would be here. You really can't see it because it's dark. It's a black set screw, and yeah, it's pretty hard to see, but I don't know if they put this on there in advance. I don't know if there's more going on that I'm not aware of, but I'm not super concerned about this right now, at least. What's in here? Adhesion promoter. So yeah, if you really want a solid mount on your windshield, use adhesion promoter. That will make it that much stickier. The VHB will be that much harder to remove. So I guess I can look at what's in here. I don't need to use a knife on everything, I guess. Maybe I do. Okay. Got a smell to it. I can smell the chemical a little. Interesting. So maybe this is just, I don't know if it's got anything in it, or maybe it's just like a mat to sort of dry it off or pre-clean the windshield. I'm not sure. I'll put this over here. Let's see, more adhesion promoter. Maybe this was in the previous bag. I think maybe they were just trying to showcase maybe what's in this B, MagMount Set B. I'm not entirely sure what's up with it. I see there's this dummy, it says dummy MagMount V1 windshield side. Okay, interesting. So I think they sent an extra one of these, which honestly is a nice thing to have if you're wanting to play around with having maybe a mount inside your home. Like I had previously stuck a mount under the fireplace, and so I just stick it right up against the fireplace. That was kind of cool. Of course, I had the full electrical connection with that mount. This one just says dummy mount on it. It has a nice weight to it. It feels good, but I guess it's really just like a fancy dust cover or something. So dummy windshield mag mount. And you can see that it would be fitting on here, I guess, because of the way the grooves are. So, okay, it's got a magnet on it, that's for sure, at least a couple magnets probably. So I could really hear, I can hear the case is the case for the Comma 3X in this case. You could hear the plastic creak a little bit. Yeah, it's like really solid. So, but once again, I think this is just like a fancy dust cover is what it comes down to. And then this would go on the windshield if you really want to put something on the windshield. But I think this is really just for shipping purposes. It's got a magnet in it too, though. It feels like, yeah, it has like some sort of magnetic attraction. Yeah. So I guess they were just having fun with their magnets and wanted to make extra stuff. So that's fun, I guess. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and mount this onto the windshield. It'll be basically in this kind of orientation. So I'll see you at my car. Okay, so we're in the car and I have some isopropyl alcohol. I have a microfiber cloth. Worth noting that if you're going to use alcohol, try to get a high percentage. Otherwise, if you're getting the medical oriented 70%, then you know that it has more water. It might take a little bit longer to evaporate. Of course, BearTech did include some wipes as well, but I'm going to just keep those for another day. And right now, I'll just prep my windshield up here. And then dry it off a little. You could let it evaporate on its own, but I just like to make sure that it's definitely dry. Then the next part is what's going to stress people out, because you want to make sure it's level, centered, as high up as possible. In this case, I have a couple other magnetic mounts already. The Cloud J mount on the top would have had a cable like this, and you can see how I allowed there to be enough room for me to take it out. And that's the kind of thing that I want to do with the BearTech mount. Is I'm going to allow some space there, and remember, have this USB connection at the top. So I'd want to be something like that. So ideally I would have drawn a line or something, but I'm not going to be super picky with it. I'm just going to eyeball it a bit. I think that's about fine. So I just got to remember that distance and take my time. I'm going to sort of roll it on a bit. Remind myself again, yeah, that's good distance. If you just touch a tiny bit to the windshield, that's fine. You can let it sort of temporarily hang on a little bit. And I think that'll be a good distance. So, and right now it's actually just sort of hanging on by a tiny little bit. I'm just double checking to make sure it looks like it's kind of level. It looks fairly decent. Probably not my best job. And now I'm just going to press on it for about 10 seconds or so. You normally want to do this in a warm environment. Some people will try this in the middle of winter And you have a couple of problems with winter where basically not only will the windshield be cold and the 3M VHB won't cure properly, but also you have a problem with condensation where just you talking and breathing, that condensation is going to build up on the windshield and it'll make it that much harder for the 3M VHB to stick. And I know this firsthand because there was that they included Comma included with the harness box that would go under the camera cover. They wanted you to stick that against the windshield, and I found that to be just kind of like a bad idea. But anyway, I'll just stick this on here. Looks like I have just enough room for that. So that's snapped on. And then I will, later on, I'll take the camera cover off and I'll just put the cable up there. And actually I'll route it real nice so you won't really be able to see it. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's just make sure that this will stick onto the windshield. I'm sure it will be fine. Okay, that was interesting. It was not like a super hard stickiness where it's going to shatter my glass. Although maybe you saw when I pulled it off, I actually hit my Comma 3X against this. So you just got to watch your own strength and keep things from flying all over the place. So it's not like a super strong magnetic attraction compared to the Cloud J. This one feels more reasonable. If you're not careful, you can still slam the windshield. It does look nice. Of course, when you're driving, you're not like up this close, like staring at it. And you could use two hands to take it down. You're going to have a more controlled mount and dismount if you use two hands, of course. Some you might want to practice left-handed, which is how I prefer doing that. Other mount was with the left hand and just slide out. This doesn't slide though, it just pulls on and off. It seems pretty solid. Yeah, and if you try to do it off to the side, it won't really stick at all. Yeah, so that is pretty good. I'm gonna just check how it looks from the outside. It has just a little bubble there, not a big deal. And it's not super high up on the windshield since I have these other mounts there, but I think it'll be fine. So let me just feel this one more time. Yeah. Okay, it seems pretty solid. Yeah. I would say not as solid as this mount, maybe about the same feeling as with the Cloud J. The Cloud J uses aluminum. The BearTech uses this 3D printed material, maybe PETG, maybe nylon. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty strong. Anyway, once again, that was the BearTech mount, magnetic mount. And it seems like a good buy, so good job. Keep on making mag mounts for the public. I do think it's gonna help people preserve this OBDC port from getting wear and tear, or too much wear and tear. So I really don't think you should be parking in the sun with this up on the windshield. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.